and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God.
Welcome to Bellows Falls Community Television. We're here at St. Charles's Church in Bellows Falls, Vermont. Today's guest is D. Thomas Burns, also known as the Green Mountain Cantor. Tom is a severely handicapped veteran who blends his unique singing talent with his military experiences and religious dedication. We are pleased to have the Green Mountain Cantor on our community television channel. We hope you enjoy this tribute to veterans on this Memorial Day weekend.
Hello, my name's Tom Burns. I'm classified as a 100% disabled veteran. I was hit in the head in Vietnam by shrapnel from a mortar round back in 1968. It paralyzed one side. Now, whenever I tell someone that, I always add that the paralysis is the bad news. The good news is my name is not on that Vietnam memorial located down in Washington, D.C., known as the Wall. And there is some 58,000 plus names of American servicemen and women who are on that wall, who died in Vietnam. Following 9/11, there was a great, huge surge in patriotism here in this country, and that was great. That was great that happened. And it goes on until today now. And that's evidenced by the fact that when these Iraq and Afghanistan soldiers come back from the war zone, they're greeted with wonderful parades, homecoming parades, and they're elevated to a status of hero. And they certainly are. Anyone who puts his lives in harm's way for the government should be and is a hero. However, in past wars, they all weren't recognized as heroes coming home, especially from the Vietnam War. As a matter of fact, their reception to Americans was just the opposite than what Iraq and Afghanistan soldiers are facing now. But you know, most or some of these veterans who came back not only experienced the hell of war and weren't welcome home, and that was basically because the country was against the war and apparently took it out on the soldiers coming back for the Vietnam era. But many of these soldiers were injured in the war or exposed to chemicals in that war. And things didn't crop up and make them sick for many years later. And 35 years later is when the cancer started to show. Now, once again, those guys who passed away, they don't even get on the wall, much less recognized as a hero, a war hero. So I did this Tribute to Veterans CD for them, and I hope you like it. Their families liked it, and that's what it's all about. I did that for the families. I had 3 close personal friends of mine that I'm dedicating it to, who all were in Vietnam around the same time I was, 1967 and 68, and all 3 fought a magnificent fight for all these years, but 35 years later, after they came home from Vietnam, they finally succumbed to the cancers caused by Agent Orange. So what we need to do is remember that, folks, that we've got people out there who are heroes but never recognized. But anyway, I did this for them, and I'd like to dedicate this CD to them. Now, what I'd like to do is I'm going to sing each song the first verse twice. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want you folks out there, if you know any veterans who have passed on and you would like to dedicate this particular Tribute to Veterans CD to them, then just include their name in your mind and join me. Because also in Scripture, singing is praying twice, and we could all use a little extra credit. So please join me in your own way, to your own person. You dedicate a tribute to veterans. Now, the first song will be Amazing Grace, but first I want to announce the veterans. This is to you, Larry Babe McAuliffe, Donnie Bush, and Robert Poddursky. Rest in peace. You will never be forgotten. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Our second song is a patriotic song, so please join me, America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. This concludes Tribute to Veterans Part 1. Now I would ask you to try out Tribute to Veterans Part 2. I think you'll really like it. I dedicated to a couple of really sharp guys, Irish lads they are, by the names of Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity. They do such a great job with the news that I just wanted to dedicate a little song to them on the Tribute to Veterans Part 2.